Hello there. Welcome to week 4. I just wanted to go over a couple of things with you this week. We are coming up the halfway through the course, which is hard to believe, but kind of fun too. Realizing that you are that much closer to passing the class and earning this English credit. So this week we really start to shift gears. In the past 3 weeks, the focus has been on writing skills, and you guys have been doing the grammar quizzes and kind of refreshing or relearning some of those grammar rules, which is great. It's good practice, and you guys have been doing very well on those quizzes. So kudos to you. But now we're going to take some of those skills and some of the writing strategies that we've been talking about and put it into action. So if you remember back in week 2, we had you had the preview of the business writing assignment. So now you're going to be turning in your first draft of that. So it's a little it's different than what we've been doing. I won't say it's tricky, but sometimes students have a couple little missteps. So I'm hopeful that if, by watching this video, and the nice thing about a video is you can rewatch it, that you'll have all of the things that you need to be successful on this assignment and to save some stress. But remember, I'm always here to help you. If it gets turned in wrong or anything like that, everything is fixable at this point. Okay, so you'll begin this week just like you have done with all the other weeks, as you start with the lecture and going through. And I really like our lectures in this class because it gives you some practical ideas. It gives you some practice on your own, kind of to go along with what we were talking about in week 3 about some of that self-study. And in an asynchronous course, that's very important. So you want to make sure that you're going through a lot of these pre-writing activities because this is setting yourself up for success in what we're going to be doing for this writing project, because it's going to take us over several weeks in the course. So a lot in this first step, this pre-writing, before you even get to the assignment that you're going to turn in this week, is really important because it is not only a time saver, it really helps us start formulating what you're going to be doing and start generating those ideas. So spend some time in this section, and also our discussion board talks about some of these pre-writing strategies, because it isn't something that's going to waste your time. It's in the end, it's going to save you some time, and even more importantly than that, save you some frustration. Writing is not something that you can just sit down and do in an instant. Good writing, which I know all of you want to do, you're at the very beginning of this part of your academic journey, and one of the reasons that this is one of the first courses that you take here is to really build on these academic writing skills. Okay, and it's a skill, and it takes practice, and that's what this lecture is all about. So I'm not going to go through the lecture because you're going to do all of that, but I just want to make sure that you're doing all of the different activities and the practice to kind of help cement that. And at any time, what's nice about this kind of a lecture, as versus if we were in person, you can go back and look at it at any time. The information is there for you. All right. So we also have our discussion, and you're going to be asked to talk about some of your writing strategies. So you'll be putting that information in the discussion. So let's take a look at the business writing, the assignment, and directions, because there's lots of steps to this, and I want to make sure that everything is crystal clear for you. Okay? So on this, what you're going to be turning in this week is what's called a rough draft, okay, because this is going to be the first thing that you are doing for that. So we've been talking about workplace communication. So this is something that you are going to be working on with this business writing. Okay, so you're going to have 3 prompts to choose from, 3 different kind of ideas that you're going to be writing about, but you're only going to choose one, which is why we had that preview in week 2. So you're going to choose a situation to write about that highlights your workplace capability skills, even if it happened outside of workplace. Sometimes some of the skills that are really important in the workplace, like organization, taking initiative, being a leader, those types of things are sometimes found outside of like a paid work experience. It could be something that you've done within your family life and your social life and your volunteer life, church life. All of those types of things count too. So you're going to address the prompts question in a well-organized multi-paragraph format, otherwise known as an essay. And you're going to build this response using, professional language and tone, because this is a workplace document. It isn't a conversation with friends or, creative writing, anything like that. It's going to be, professional. You want to make sure that you include enough detailed explanations, and your response is going to be about 550 words. Okay? So, right in the middle here, I want you to know, I want to talk to you about artificial intelligence, or otherwise known as AI. And there are lots of platforms that have it. ChatGPT is one. Grammarly has their own that's built into it beyond just checking grammar and spelling. There's Google has their own now that's called Gemini. There's Microsoft Bard, and there's probably every day there's a new one. So there's lots of different artificial intelligence platforms out there. In your everyday life, those may be very helpful. For instance, we recently were planning a trip and used AI to help kind of navigate some of the things that we didn't know about this area. So it was kind of helpful just basically in organizing our thoughts. Beyond that, it gave a very detailed itinerary, but it wasn't something that we could use, and it wasn't us personally. We just needed to have something to say, okay, you can go from point A to point B, because we just really didn't know where to begin. So it was kind of like a beginning point, okay? But I want to keep in mind that I know, and you know, that you can use AI to do a lot of different things. But what you don't want to do is to do your thinking and your work for you. Okay? You are in this class to learn how to become academic writers, and having AI write your entire essay is not helping you learn that. Because even though this is something that is around and in some instances is very helpful, it is not going to teach you how to write that, how to write as an academic person. So, and it is also academic dishonesty to do that. So let's avoid that. We're going to work together on this assignment. You have a couple weeks to work on it. We're going to be breaking it down into different parts. We're going to be talking about the writing process. I'm not looking for a perfect paper. That's one of the first signs that I know a student has used AI is they turn in a perfect paper. I can't sit down and write a perfect paper right off the bat. I still have to go through the same process that you do to write anything. There just aren't perfect writers out there. And even the problem with AI is it's not perfect because there's no personality behind it. There's no wisdom behind it. There's no feeling behind it. And it's very unnatural. And it is very obvious. So this is me in front of you pleading to not use AI to write your essay, because it will become obvious. And then obviously you can't use credit for something that is written by AI, because that's considered academic dishonesty. So let's not do that. Work on your own skills, because I know all of you are smart enough to do it. So you have 3 different scenarios to look at, and I'm not going to read those to you because I want you to read through them. But the idea is, there it is. You are completing an application for a management position in your field. Keep in mind, this is still just an essay. You're not going to be filling out any kind of application or anything like that. But this would just be like something that might be included in your application. Okay. But so you are, potentially in a management field and whatever your chosen career is. Okay. So it has to be professional. It has to be written in, a professional language. So you want to be very careful on what you're picking, because if you pick something that's too personal or too negative, it may not be appropriate to be sharing with a potential workplace employer. Okay, so keep that in mind. Over the years, I've seen some people have shared some, very personal things, but it doesn't really meet the assignment parameters because you wouldn't share something personal when you're trying to get a job in your chosen field with your manager. Okay, so keep that in mind. So it should be very specific to what skills are going to transfer over to this management position. So you're going to pick one, two, or three. And then there is an outline here. So it really helps you. They got some sentence starters and how to kind of organize your writing. And this is very helpful. You want to have the three different paragraphs. You want to have it similar to this, but if you want to use a different sentence starter, you can certainly do that. But sometimes students need to have this starter to get them going. And that's perfectly fine, and that's what we have here. But you'll want to use similar to what is shown here with the three different paragraphs. And each paragraph is going to be about a different topic. So your first paragraph is going to be introducing the topic and a little bit about a statement that kind of introduces what the scenario is that you're going to be talking about and explain what the situation is and the problem. Okay? Again, you want to be very careful about what you're choosing and how you're going to write about it, because overall, even if there's a little bit of negative in something, you don't want to emphasize what the negative part is. You want to emphasize your managerial skills. Okay? So that's really important to keep in mind. So not every personal thing, even though you may have learned the most from something very personal that happened to you, think about whether it would be appropriate to share with a potential employer. All right. So there's your outline. Here are the rubric. I like to think of this as a checklist. Do you have all of these elements in here? Because this is exactly what I use when I grade it. So you can grade yourself even before you turn it in. One important thing that trips students up is this is going to be a Word document. Students here at Bryant and Stratton College have access to Word documents for free. It's part of your account. When you're using the Microsoft Office account, Word is a part of that. But you are going to be uploading the document. So this is one of the things that stresses students out and stresses me out a little bit, but I'm here to support you, so it's not very stressful on my end, but I don't like to see my students stressed. When I go through and grade it, if it is not uploaded correctly, I'm going to let you know. I'm going to provide an initial grade of a 0, just to let you know I've looked at it. I can't grade it yet because if it's not uploaded as a document, I can't see it in the grade book part of that. So I will just let you know, and then you can resubmit it. But it has to be submitted as a Word document. Let me just show you real quick because the video is getting kind of long. But if you go to Blackboard and you go to Assist, and then you look at the student portal, here's all the information that you need about Blackboard, about your email, and all of the different things that you need to know on how to upload the Word document to the assignment. So let's go back to that real quick. So your submission is going to go here. Wait a minute. No, that's not what I wanted it to show. Yeah, it'll be here. Yeah. Okay. So those are the two assignments for this week, is the discussion and the business writing assignment directions and rubric. So look forward to reading these assignments. And remember, this is the very first part because it's not going to be perfect. And then I will grade it, provide you some feedback, and then you'll have an opportunity to keep working on it as we keep adding the different writing skills for this week. So, all right, have a great week. See you in class.